I wanted to share a little bit more about me and my journey with depression. So this could come in a number of different parts, so just keep watching out for the videos as they come up. So I believe that back when I was 15, that's probably when it all started. Really the yo-yo of the emotions, the lack of self-worth, the lack of self-belief, the listening to, you know, girls can be a bit bitchy, and I'm no different to anybody else. So there's no blame out there. It's just taking a look at what is. So, you know, girls in the teenage years say some nasty things, do some nasty things, not really that receptive. And one day you're the flavour, the next day you're not. Now, I remember going home and crying a lot, asking to change schools. And my parents' belief was that you have to deal with this stuff because guess what? There's going to be plenty of people in the world that want to do the same thing to you. And yeah, they're right. But I think at that time I didn't need to learn that lesson. So I think that's where my up and down yo-yo-ness started. On top of that, that's where my hormones started. So I remember being quite hormonal, and the worst days within the cycle of up and down was, you know, my cycle, my hormone cycle. So fast forward to being 17, 18. I can have good thoughts around this now because I have released so much that comes from this area. I was dating this guy and I really, really, really loved him. He was the first love of my life. And we were so different. But, you know, I came from this space of not being worthy, not having any self-confidence, lacking in a whole bundle of emotional things that had come and stemmed from my early childhood. So needless to say that nothing this guy could have done was ever going to be enough to show me that he cared or loved or gave a shit about who I was. But that was my thing, not his thing, because it was coming from my belief system. So, you know, when I gave him an ultimatum, either you go and I'm not here when you come back, or you stay and we're all good. He chose his thing, and because I'd given an ultimatum, I didn't have any choice but to stand to my ultimatum. So that was the first of the relationships that structured who I am. So again, more beliefs in and around, and I remember it being quite messy emotionally for me at that stage. So we're talking about 18 now, 17, 18. And then at 19, I met somebody. And at first, didn't really realise the emotional abuse that came with the relationship. He was very manipulative and passive-aggressive would probably be the one to say who he was. I've released a lot around him. I haven't released it with him though. Whereas the first partner or boyfriend, I've had a lot of good conversations with him in the last 4 years, 5 years, 3 years maybe. And it's a relief. We both got to release anything that was holding us back from that particular period in time. So if you get the opportunity, let it go with the person and be really clear about your responsibility in that relationship and in its lack of working. So now I'm at about age 21, and I think this was probably the hardest part because this particular boyfriend I was engaged to get married to, and he was very manipulative, as I've said. We were 12 weeks from getting married when I pulled the pin on it. He told me I was fat, I was ugly, and nobody was going to love me. So, of course, from my belief system of I was unlovable, I was replaced, I wasn't worthy, of course, that was going to play a big part in my head. Everything that was being said was being stored there and triggering off what I already believed about who I was. So that's the first step. So I would suggest or recommend or ask any mums, dads, teenagers, anybody that's feeling that they're either feeling the sadness of being a teenager, or parents that see the sadness of their teenager, look after them, because there is some real stuff going on there. And if we can shift those negative beliefs in who they are now, trust me, we won't have the problems that I had when I was older. So that's part one. Watch for the next one. Thank you.